Hi everyone, welcome back to Story Time. Hope you're doing okay. Glad you have joined me today. We are going to do one more story from Bob Hartman's book, and we will also do another devotional from the Indescribable book. So get yourself comfortable, grab your snacks and your drink if you want to, and then I will begin. Okay, so today's story is the Lion's version from Daniel in the Lion's Den. It's tough being a lion, and I'm not lion. Lion? Get it? Lying. Sorry. That's the problem. Nobody expects a lion to have a sense of humour. We're supposed to be fierce and proud and obsessed with tearing things to bits. And fair enough, some lions are. Take my sister, for example. She'd sooner bite the head off a bunny than look at it. You just don't mess with her, particularly at dinner time. But me, I'm just put together differently, I guess. I'll let the odd bunny past, no problem. Antelopes, just the same. Sure, I like a good meal now and then. Who doesn't? Circle of life and all that. But I'm not looking to devour everyone in the room or kill the first thing that moves. I'd rather just lie in the sun and enjoy the moment. That's what I was doing, in fact, when they dropped this old guy into my living space. When I say living space, I mean the place where my sister and I hang out. It's not in the wild as it used to be when we were cubs. It's smaller. There's an outside bit with rocks to lie on and an inside bit that's covered for when it rains. A den. And when I say they, I mean the men who took us from the wild to this place, who drop food down into our living space from time to time. My sister hates this arrangement. As I said, she enjoys the hunting thing and is generally quite grumpy anyway. Me, I love it. Free food, regular naps. What more could a lion ask for? Anyway, this old guy dropped down into the den one day, and at first I wasn't quite sure what to do. My sister, of course, was all roar and fang and claw. Calm down, I told her. Let's think this thing through. What's this to think about? She growled. He dropped down. He's dinner. All instinct, my sister, all the time. But look at him, I said. There's no meat on those bones. What kind of dinner is that? I think this is a mistake. I'll say he's actually one of the dinner droppers and that he fell down. And if we eat him, we might make the other dinner droppers mad. So, she grunted. So, I argued, they might not feed us again. Not if we've eaten one of them. But how do we find out? She replied. It's not as if we can ask them. We wait, I said, and see if they come back for him. Look, he's on his knees. He's staring up in the air, and he's saying something. Maybe he's calling for help. But I'm hungry, she grumbled. You're always hungry, I grumbled back. How about we wait until it's dark? If they don't come back by then, we'll know that they meant to feed him to us. And fine, you can eat whatever meat you can pick off those bones of his. Then I went back to my rock and fell asleep. When I woke up, the sun was setting. The old guy was still kneeling and my sister was drooling. Any minute now, she smiled. Whatever, I shrugged. There's been plenty of time for them to come back for him. And then somebody else dropped in. I say dropped in. I suppose I really mean appeared. He wasn't there, and then he was. Bit like a meerkat, popping up out of a hole. But there was no hole, and he was bigger than a meerkat, lots bigger. My sister, of course, decided that he would make a much better dinner than the old guy in the corner, so she leapt in his direction, claws bared, fangs flashing. Big mistake. First, she flew right through him. I am not making this up. It was as if he was made of air. Whoosh! Might want to rethink this, sis, I suggested, but the adrenaline was flowing and the bloodlust. She's an animal. What can I say? So she leapt again. And this time he was as solid as a rock. And she bounced off him with a whimper and a thud. Sis, I sighed, leave it. You're not going to eat that one. Then I'll have the old man, she growled. No, you won't, said the newcomer, and my sister and I just looked at each other. Did you hear that? I whispered. I did, she whispered back. Not a man then, I said. They can't understand us. What then? She replied, and our visitor smiled and said, an angel. It was, I must admit, a new concept to me. Not man, not lion, not meerkat. So I asked him to explain. I am a servant of the Most High God, he said, who is the maker of all things. Now this I understood. In fact, I found it quite comforting. I would often lie on my rock, staring up into the sky, clouds in the day, stars at night. My sister thought I was lazy, but I was actually thinking. And one of those things I thought was, this can't all be here by chance. Somebody must have made it. And here was the proof. But my sister, she just grunted. So what? So, the angel answered, I have been sent by the maker of all things to protect Daniel, the man over there. Because, I asked. I was on a roll, thinking wise. Because he had followed the maker faithfully, praying to him daily. Praying? I asked again. Talking to the maker, the angel explained. And for that, a king called Darius, who rules this land, has said that he must die. And he has ordered his men to leave him here for you to eat. Sounds like a plan to me, grinned my sister. Wait a minute, I said. This Darius wants him dead just because he talked to the maker? I don't get it. To be fair, the angel explained, the king does not want him to die. He was tricked into this by his advisors, men who are jealous of Daniel. They are the ones who want him dead. And they call us animals, I sighed. We only kill to eat. And speaking of eating, added my sister. Yes, I see the dilemma, said the angel. You want to eat Daniel. I need to protect him. How about this? What if we wait until morning? Morning, moaned my sister. Wait until morning, the angel continued, and I promise you the biggest meal you've ever had. My sister looked sceptical. The biggest? Really? Really, the angel grinned. I promise. Say you'll wait, sis, I whispered. You've already tried to get past him. It's the only choice you've got. All right, she sighed. Might as well go to sleep then. She curled up into a ball. I went back to my rock, and the angel, who knows? He was awake the next morning when I woke up. My sister was awake too, waiting for her breakfast, and so was someone else. It's King Darius, the angel explained as a head peeped over the edge of our den. And then the head said something. What's he going on about? I asked. He wants to know if Daniel is alive, the angel translated, while Daniel shouted and jumped up and down. I take it that means yes, I chuckled. Good call, the angel chuckled in return. And now the king is saying how pleased he is, and that Daniel's God must be the true God if he could save him from a den of hungry lions. Yes, hungry, my sister interrupted. What about that promise of yours? Hold on, said the angel. Ah, yes, here it comes. King Darius says that Daniel will now be set free. Look, there's the rope, and there he goes. And wait for it. The evil advisers who are jealous of Daniel will now be condemned to take his place. And here they come. My sister's eyes were as big as saucers, for the 3 men who dropped down into the den were the fattest 3 men either of us had ever seen. Lots of meat on those bones, I said. King's advisers eat well, nodded the angel. Breakfast time, roared my sister. And well, do you really want me to describe what happened next? Suffice to say that it was, as promised, the biggest meal she'd ever had. Farewell, said the angel. Fangs. Fangs a lot, I replied. Get it? Fangs? Thanks? Thanks. That's all right. The angel didn't laugh either. He just rolled his eyes and did his meerkat disappearing act. First he was there, then he was gone. Back to the maker of all things. And, I'm not lying. Okay, and then another devotional from our book, Indescribable. This one's called Holding It Together. Colossians 1 verse 17 says, Christ is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Have you ever seen workers build a brick building? They don't just stack the bricks on top of each other. They need some sort of glue to hold all those bricks together. The glue for bricks is called mortar. In the same way, your body is made up of 37.2 trillion little bricks called cells. And like a building, those cells need some sort of glue to hold them all together. The glue for the cells is called laminin. Laminin holds your body together. The thing that's even more amazing about laminin is what it looks like. When you take a peek at laminin, and you'll need an electron microscope to see it, it looks like a cross. Let me show you the picture. Why is that important? Because it's yet another reminder that we are God's own creation. You see, God left his fingerprints all throughout his creation. The Bible tells us that even though we can't see the invisible qualities of God, like his awesome power and his holiness, we can see his creation and know he is real. And that's from Romans 1 verse 20. Jesus was with God at creation, and in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. In him all things hold together. And that's from Colossians chapter 1 verses 16 to 17. Laminin is a picture of what Jesus tells us in his word. He is the glue that holds our bodies, our souls, and everything together. So when you're feeling overwhelmed and having the absolute worst day ever, think about laminin. And remember that Jesus holds you and all things together. Be amazed. The earliest known use of glue was birch bark tar, which was used to make spears. The earliest written record of the use of glue comes from ancient Egypt. Hieroglyphs show that the casket of Pharaoh Tutankhamun you may know him as King Tut, was glued together with a glue made from animal bones and skin. Yuck. Lord, when I start to worry about all the things happening in my life and around me, help me remember you are Lord of all and you hold everything together, including me. Amen. Thank you for joining me for our story. Hope you could join me again on Sunday for Junior Church. And again Monday for another story, and we're going to be starting a new book. So we finished Bob Hartman's for this time. We're going to start a new one, so join me on Monday for our new story. But before we go, let's just close in prayer. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this time together. Thank you that we can read these stories and enjoy the humour in them. Thank you that they are versions of the Bible, and of course the Bible is your true word. Thank you for all of the reminders in the Bible of who you are and what you have done, and thank you that as we've read this devotional together, we are reminded that Jesus, you hold us together. So help us to remember, as that prayer said at the end, that when things are happening in my life around me that cause me to worry, help me to remember that you are Lord, that you hold everything, including me, together. Thank you for this promise, thank you for this truth, and particularly in this time that we might be feeling worried as things are happening around us. Lord, help us to remember you're in control and that you, Jesus, hold everything together. And we thank you for that. Amen. Join me again soon for more stories in Junior Church. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Have a great time.